G'day guys, this is really now test number 3 with this Highbanker. What I've done is just made some crappy legs out of some wood just to play around with some angles and stuff like that. And then I'll come up with a way to make some decent legs. This is more about setting the angle on this hopper. So what I've got today, or what I'm running, is just the 1100 gallon pump. Just a nice little cheapie from eBay. Also got this other little spray bar up the top there. That's just running off an old little pool pump. It doesn't pump a lot of water, as you'll be able to see. It's just more to increase the amount of water going through the sluice, because the 1100 I don't think's anywhere close to enough water. So I've got a bucket here at the end, and that's how I'll probably run it in the creek as well when I do it. Same with this end. Bucket up that end. That's to catch your tailings, especially if you've got mud and things like that. So what I'm going to do, that's what I have got. I went out yesterday and got 4 buckets of mud and clay and rubbish out of a spot where I know there's some gold. So I thought the best way to test this thing is with some gold. Hopefully we've got some gold. So what I've got down here, that's me bucket of mud. Now the water's a bit dirty already. I had crap in this hose with the pool pump, and it's just mucked the water up already. But what I'll do, I'll show you what it's looking like coming down the sluice. Got a bit of a different design in me hopper. I've got this punch plate. So the hopper's on a reasonably steep angle, but the punch plate isn't. Punch plate runs on a different angle. The idea of that is, with these small little Highbankers, you want to not have as much angle on them. You want them to sit there and wash the material. Obviously the 6-inch mat can only handle so much. So it's not a Highbanker where you're just shoveling straight into it. It's more of a Highbanker where you're feeding it at a rate that the mat can keep up. You can always chuck a sluice on the bottom, and you know, that's something that I'll probably do a bit later on. Put a larger sluice, but that's when I'll really crank the water up and use this just as a header box sort of thing for me larger sluice. Yeah, so this is the water coming down. If you've seen the other videos, you'll see that I've just got to angle this back right up to where I need it to be. As I said, I haven't got anything on there to hold it, so I'm not going to have to tighten that up and then start feeding. Yeah, I've got a punch plate actually holding the mat in place. Thought that'd act as a bit of a trap, and then I'll probably end up getting some bit of miner's moss as well and put it underneath. As you can see, my header box keeps dropping down a bit, so I'm going to stop this. I'm going to readjust everything and then feed some material through and see what happens. Alright, I've readjusted that up. I thought I'd turn the pumps off just for a second, just so that you can have a little bit of a look in here. So as you can see, the actual header box is on quite a bit of angle. The sluice I've set at 9 degrees. But if we have a look around here, so I'll try and get this so that it shows you. So you see the header box, the angle that's there. When you come around here and see the punch plate is nowhere near as steep. So obviously it's going to take a bit of time to get through there, but I'm hoping, I wanted to angle that, the heavies and everything else down into that section under here, and have that on not as much of an angle, but have the actual header box on an angle. And it's about the way I've designed this to feed down into here. I've seen quite a few designs and they put little brackets and plates and bits and pieces underneath there. I didn't want to do that. Just wanted to come up with a bit of my own idea. I had this higher as well up this end, and I've tapered it down. The reason for that is I was considering just under here putting a plate or a flap and having it across there to create a bit of a washy sort of like an area where I could even the flow of the water coming across the mat. But the punch plate seems to be working fine. It's maybe something I'll add a bit later. But what I'll do, I'll get these pumps going again, and then we will feed some material through and see what happens. The buckets I'm going to be catching my tailings, and I'll do this in the field as well. And that's just in case I've got clay muddy material. I can rerun that material and just see if there's any gold getting lost. So what I can do is I'll do a run, get a few buckets of material that's already run through, give the mat out a clean, see what gold I've captured, put it all back in, run just those buckets, nothing else, see what I've lost, see if I'm capturing any more gold with it going through twice. Alright, better start this thing, otherwise this video is going to go forever. Alright, back in the... Alright, first scoop. So there's my scoop of material. We'll throw her in up here. Bugger. Alright, that's a big lump of clay. We'll just let that sit there for a while and feed through. I knew this material was clay, like really clay. Hopefully that breaks down a bit. Ideally I haven't got this set up in the best place, so I can't get to it from both sides. Now this is probably some of the worst sort of material that you'll have to deal with. It's probably not really set up to run this sort of stuff, but you got to try these things. Obviously I could have a spray bar that's really, really tight, and that way the flow would be a lot harder in areas. You know, it'd be sharper, like with your hose, you know, when you turn your hose up and point it out. I find with a bilge pump, an electric pump, you just don't have the same amount of power as you would with a petrol. So I'll let this stuff run. I'll run this bucket through. I'll show you what's happening, and in the sense with the material, and then maybe what I've caught in the mat if I get time. Alright, back in a sec. Alright, I ran a third of that bucket. I really shouldn't be doing this in here. I should be doing this somewhere else, and I should be using a hell of a lot more water is what I've realised. The 1100, it just doesn't cut it. Even with that little bit extra, it still just does not cut it. Like 9 degrees on that angle. That mat should be clearing out, and it's not. But what I am going to do, just out of total curiosity, it's probably going to be no gold, but I am going to pull that mat out now, and I am just going to do a pan of it and just see if there's any colour. Should be interesting. Alright, back in a sec. Alright guys, I'm going to call it quits on me test today. What I wanted to do was pan out for the 4 different areas, so what I have done is just panned out 2. So that was the material that was stuck in my mat. It's obviously not clearing out properly, I don't have enough water. I did want to check the tailings, but I'm not going to do that today, and I did want to check what was in the bucket at the bottom of the sluice. What I did do was, after I removed the mat, I didn't fully take out the punch plate, but I loosened it off enough so that I could wash all the material out from underneath it and behind the mat. Now, what I did get, you should be able to see right there. I'll try and get them right in the middle. The light, that'll be right. You start filming and clouds come over and ruin your light. So there's 3 bigger bits and a couple little fine bits of gold. What I sort of suspected as well was that punch plate before the mat is going to act like a trap, and it's going to hold stuff. I like catching gems as well, so I thought, you know, I'd put something there. I'll probably end up putting some miner's moss there as well, but the dream mats for the really super fine stuff that may get through there, because I trust dream mat a lot. But that little catchment there should catch some gold, and it has, as you can see there, a few little bits of gold. I'll leave it at that. I ran bugger all really and made a mess of things. I just didn't want to head out to the creek and do it there and then have a disastrous day there. What I found is I really need to build some better legs. Those temporary ones weren't good enough, and the 1100 gallon pump is just rubbish. Maybe if I had 2 of them, I might try and borrow a 2000 gallon pump for a day and see how that goes. But I'll try and do another test maybe tomorrow. I'll have a bit more time, and we'll see how we go. So I hope you enjoy. Any comments, any feedback, any suggestions would be much appreciated. I'm only playing with this stuff. I've run a Highbanker, you know, for a few hours here and there. Never owned one, and you know, when you make something for the first time, it's you know, trial and error. So yeah, until the next time, I'll see you all later.